Brighton have officially sacked their sporting director today. And where did Brighton finish in the league?
8th.
They finished 8th. And they've confirmed today Jason Ato has left the club after 9 months as their sporting director. Which at first it made me think, like, is he coming to Spurs? What's going on? But as he got sacked, I doubt it, because they must be not too happy with him. Although we did get Lange, who got sacked from Aston Villa. But it got me thinking, being like, what the hell is Lange still doing here? We're here a week and a half after the window, and Johan Lange is still running amok at this football club. We're still going for the same transfer targets that we went for last summer under Johan Lange. It feels like, for all intents and purposes, that we're moving forward with Johan Lange because we're going for the same targets.
Well, we're making signings, aren't we? And the reality is, I think I'm not upset with or angry or anything with the signings that we're reportedly making. I think Robertson, Senesi, Savini, I think there's all reasons why we should be going for these kind of players. The problem I have right now is they've, for the whole season, they've had time to plan for this, right? They've had time to plan for they've known the season's gone wrong. They've known how much trouble we've been in. They've known that we need a massive kind of restructuring or overhaul of some of the footballing departments. They've said it themselves. This club has not been having football at the forefront, all these different things. Johan Lange has made horrible decision after horrible decision. He's put us in lots and lots of trouble, nearly got us relegated. They've known, until the end of the season, we've been linked with other sporting directors, Sebastian Kell, Freeman, whoever it is. We've been linked with lots and lots of sporting directors. And yet we're now 10 days after the season's ended. We've had all these statements from them and nothing has changed so far. I understand 10 days isn't like the most amount of time, but it's also enough time, having surely been planning during the season, that we should have had some movement already on that come the lead up to the transfer window. This is a massive transfer window for Tottenham. We cannot get this wrong. We need people at the helm, at the top of the club, doing business, who we trust, who are world-class quality and ability. Why has that process seemingly either not started, not been concluded? Why is there no movement on that process? Johan Lange, they're saying either he's going to be, number 2, or he's going to be, demoted to some other role, or he's going to be sacked. Or why is there nothing happening? Why is he the one still heading up our transfers? If we're signing someone tomorrow, who's having those conversations is Johan Lange. Why is he still doing that? We're making moves at the moment, yet it's Johan Lange making those moves. Why is there no one in place already to make those changes and make those improvements? What is taking so long? I understand, 10 days is since the season ended. I understand it's not like we're waiting years, but as I've said, when you put in the context of the season we've had, and you put into context they should have been preparing for this during the season. And I don't like when I heard, if Spurs stay up, then Sebastian Kell's going to come. Like, it shouldn't make a difference whether we stay up or go down. We should be getting someone who's world class at the top of the tree, who really believes in the project. That's what we should be getting. It shouldn't matter if we're in the Championship or the Premier League. If we're putting football first, shouldn't matter what division you're in. What matters is the quality of person you're having in charge. Just because we're in the Championship doesn't mean we need any worse decisions than if we're in the Premier League. We need good decisions either way. So that process should have already been well underway during the season. We should have known Lange wasn't fit for purpose, which we have known for a while because we demoted him already. Right? We should have known that Lange wasn't going to be our long-term sporting director a long time ago. So why are we sitting here, we're making signings, and the window's around the corner, and we actually don't have a sporting director in place? What is going on at this football club?
I am really worried that they're not going to get rid of him. Because like you say, it's been 10 days. Transfer business seems to be going. We've got, hopefully, which looks like we've got 2 free transfers through the door. One of them we nearly got through in January, so it's the same scouting. One of them, of the signings that looks like it's going to happen very soon, we nearly got last summer. So it's the same scouting. The words that we heard from the Spurs board in the statement was that we trust. Well, I think Vinay said. I think it was the Spurs board that said it, saying we trust the management of the club.
It was Vinay.
Was it Vinay?
Oh, no, sorry, it was the Lewis family said we trust the leadership group.
Yeah, so we trust the leadership group at the club. Is Lange part of that leadership group? I know there's been reports from Ali Golden and other people since then saying Lange, his future is not looking great, or not in those words, but no one has conclusively said that Lange is going to leave the club. So I'm starting to worry that we're actually moving forward with him at the helm. That's what I'm worried about.
As our sporting director?
As our sporting director.
No, I don't think so. I think
So why are we doing...
I just think we're being slow and reactive.
I don't know. I don't know. I got a feeling that they're not finding anyone suitable for the role, and they're just going to go forward with Lange.
I mean, if that's true, it's a disgrace.
Of course it is.
I don't really care if we keep him. As I say, all I care about is being proactive about the situation and getting someone who you really believe as sporting director.
That's been and gone. The time to be proactive has been and gone. There's no time to be proactive anymore. Anything now is reactive because the season finished 10 days ago. Being proactive would have been sacking him the day the season finished or the week before that. Now it's too late to be proactive.
Well, I understand that, and this is why we're complaining, because it hasn't happened yet. I'm just saying I don't care if Lange stays or not. I just don't want, under two conditions. I don't want him as sporting director, and I want someone to be replaced who's got world-class ability, who we trust to lead the sporting project of this football club. So I don't care if Lange stays in a different capacity. I don't want him making decisions at the top end of this football club for the first team. But I'd rather have him sacked, because he's just been here for a while now, and he's been horrible.
The whole point is like, how can you not, like, the assumption's got to be that he's going to be the sporting director heading up this transfer window, because we've started our business this window. We're planning already.
Yeah.
The window's been planned or in the process of being planned. We've got potentially 3 signings through the door already, which looks like they're all happening. So the plan looks like, from outside looking in, that the plan is to go forward with Lange. Like, how are you going to expect a new sporting director just to come in straight away and to plan the whole window? It just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think. Yeah, it does. He can come in. If he comes in now, he can plan a window with De Zerbi, have a sit down, and then they go ahead with.
But all these
targets.
Conversations have already happened with Lange and De Zerbi.
That's why we're complaining, because it hasn't happened yet. I'm not. But I'm saying it doesn't mean it can't happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened yet, which is why we're complaining.
I don't know if it is going to happen, man. I really don't.
I'm just saying it can happen. Like,
obviously, anything can happen.
I'm saying,
I think it looks a bit unrealistic at this stage.
So you're saying if we sack Lange tomorrow and brought a sporting director, it's unrealistic to go ahead with a window?
Yeah, but it's not going to happen tomorrow, is it?
I'm just saying it can still happen, right?
Of course, I just said it can happen, but right now it's looking unrealistic.
I don't think it is.
It is, because the whole planning has gone with Lange at the helm, and we're signing players that Lange has scouted, that Lange tried to sign last summer and in January transfer window. So how can we sit here and be like, all right, we're going to plan with another sporting director, when Lange is literally doing the job right now, and the window that we're in right now is being headed up by Johan Lange?
Yeah, but the window's not even officially open yet, so a lot can change. And I want Lange gone. I want someone else making the decisions, and I want a new sporting director to be heading up the new transfer window 100%. I don't mind that while he's still here, we can maybe get a signing or two that we're really sure about through the door, like a Safini or whatever. It looks like we're sure about these players. But there's a hell of a lot of business needs to be done. We're not going to be finished this before the World Cup. All our business is going to be done then. It's not going to be done before the window opens. It's not going to be done by the end of June. It's not going to be done by the end of July. It's going to run all the way to the end of the window. There's a lot of time, not a lot of time, but there's a lot to be done. So even if we get a new sporting director, they can still do the job. But what my point is, my worry is we haven't been proactive about this situation. This should all have been dealt with. We should be ahead of this situation, and we should have had someone in place so that we could proactively go and attack this window in the manner that it needs to be done. It just seems as though we're prodding along, still kind of using Lange for the time being while we search for a sporting director, which we haven't sorted out yet. Why haven't we sorted it out yet? Why haven't we got anyone in the door? Why haven't we got someone right now who's planning for the summer? Because right now, whoever, I do believe we're going to bring someone in. And when they do come in, they're going to have to be playing a bit of catch up. They're going to have to be, sitting down, having those conversations with De Zerbi, having those conversations with the management, and decide what direction we want to go in, what signings we want, all these different things, who wants to go, who wants to stay. Whereas we should have been having these conversations, in the lead up to the end of the season. They should have been knowing this situation was coming, the club, the hierarchy, and they should have been proactive and got someone lined up for when the season ended. They should have been already had those conversations. So I don't really understand what we're still doing here. And we're still going ahead right now with Lange currently in charge. That's my problem. I'm not saying but I don't believe it's unrealistic to change it and have a good window. I don't believe that. But I just don't understand why we aren't being proactive about it.
You know, you bring in another sporting director, he's going to need time to assess the whole situation. He's going to need time to figure out what we need, where we need, how we need. You know, all this is going to be such a process that it's going to take time to implement. You know, Lange has been here now for so long. He knows, he thinks he knows what we need moving forward. And he's the one that's been in the room with De Zerbi and talking about everything. So, I don't know. Look, I think a new sporting director can come in and do a job this summer. I'm not saying he can't. But when you're looking at the whole situation and when you're looking at what we've been doing so far, when you're looking at 10 days ago since the window's shut and he's still here and they haven't made a change, it does feel like Lange is going to be here. I don't know if they're going to make the change this summer. I really don't.
I do think they make the change. I'm just worried that they haven't, and it's just what that tells me. What it tells why they haven't made that change yet. It tells me.
I don't understand why you're so sure if we've already started our business.
Because all the noise. I don't think they put all that noise out there that we're getting a new sporting director. We're certain about it. The fact that Lange wasn't even our first choice sporting director before. He'd already been demoted, and then Paratici left, and then he got promoted again. I think they know that he's not fit to be our sporting director, so I don't think they're going to go ahead. But I think right now they haven't got someone in place for whatever reason. They haven't got one in the door, so there are still stuff to be done. There's still deals to be done. So Lange is obviously heading that up while we find that replacement. And obviously we've got Robertson, Senesi, and Savidio. But I do think we're looking for another sporting director. My problem is that they haven't been able to get someone through the door. Why is that the case? Is it because there's no good candidates? Is it because they're not very good at finding the right people? They don't know who to bring in? Is it because the right person is just not available yet and we're waiting? What is the reason we haven't got someone through the door? Because this shouldn't be a case of, okay, now the season's ends, how we start looking. They should have started looking during the season.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. So this should have been done by the season is end. By the end of the season, it should have been done.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not saying you're not right to be frustrated. I'm just saying I do think they're looking for someone. And I think someone will come in. But what it tells me about the fact they haven't brought someone in yet, right, is that they're still the same traits as before. They're waiting on things. They're not being proactive about the situation. They're not getting ahead of the situation. And we're still sitting here when the season ended. Look at, perfect example. We just said it. Brighton, right? They finished 8th, yeah? They got European football, the second time in their history, yeah? Yet they weren't happy enough with their situation and they fired their sporting director.
That's the whole point. Yeah, that's why I brought him up.
I'm saying that. So they're a perfect example of getting ahead of the situation, right? So why aren't we doing that? No, we're not disagreeing. We're just disagreeing about whether he will stay or not. You think he might stay. I don't think he will. I think
they're not doing it because they are clueless, Sim.
No, I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with any of you.
But that's why it makes me think that he might stay, because they're that clueless.
Okay, but I just think they are bringing someone in. I think they're bringing someone in.
And even if they bring someone in, do you even trust them to bring in the right man?
That's another question. That's also true. Those are all fair questions.
It's like the blind leading the blind, you know what I mean? It's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. Everyone running this football club has no clue in which direction to go. They've made one good decision since their time here, and that was bringing in Roberto De Zerbi, which was in a time of complete panic and frustration, and they're in dire straits. They had to do something big, and they did it. I'm never going to say credit to them, because every single other decision that they've had to make has been a shit show.
The reality is, it's not even during the season. As soon as Fabio left, they should have been starting a process. So it's actually been 6 months. When did Fabio leave? January. They've had 6 months pretty much to find someone, and the season's ended now, and they're still not got anyone.
Exactly. All of this stuff is really worrying me, that Johan Lange is going to head up this transfer window, which he already has started doing. I really hope that I'm wrong, and I really hope that we can bring someone in, and at the end of the season, when they were looking at the sporting directors, they're going for Dougie Freeman and Kell and win Stanley, and maybe, you know, after their season review and everything, they're like, all right, well, that list needs to be ripped up because we need to go for someone bigger and we need to go for someone better. That's clearly the case with Sebastian Kell. That's probably the case with Win Stanley. I've said many times that I'll bring Dougie Freeman in, but apparently, if you believe what's read in the press, he doesn't want to work with Johan Lange as number 2, and maybe he doesn't even want to leave the role that he's in right now. So maybe he's unattainable. Now they're probably scrambling around to make some other sort of list, make some other 100-point process plan to bring in some other sporting director. That's not going to work. So the whole thing's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
Yeah, just get moving, Tottenham. Start acting. Get someone through the door so we can have trust that you're making the right decisions from a footballing standpoint. Because right now, I think it puts a cloud over every transfer that we have. The fans are questioning it. If we got a new sporting director in, I don't think fans are questioning the transfers as much. But right now, you know, as long as we got Lange at helm, and especially because these transfers were linked previously as well, you know, it throws a lot of question marks out there, which are all valid questions. Are these new targets? Are these targets that are right for De Zerbi? Can we trust that you've done the right amount of scouting and recruitment, looking at these targets and analysis, because you've got it wrong so many times? How can we trust this transfer window is going to be a massive improvement on what's happened before, because we still got the same people in charge right now? So I think those are all valid questions.
Yeah, there is no trust whatsoever between this fan base and between the people that make decisions at this football club, which goes to the Lewis family, Vinay, Lange. So, like, I'll tell you, if a new sporting director came in and we brought it and we were linked with Savinio, I reckon there'll probably be a bit of a less split. Maybe I would even think about it a bit more positively. But because it's like the same kind of people making these decisions, it just makes me think negatively about it. But look, like I said, I think Savinio's a good player, and I think, you know, he'll do well in the future. I just feel like we need someone better on top of that. But this isn't about Savinio. This is about the decisions makers at this football club, and they need to start building trust with the fan base, and that starts with making the right decisions and getting the wrong people out of the football club. And that first person that had to get the sack or had to move down in the club was Johan Lange, and we haven't done that yet, which is just ridiculous. The whole thing.
Get moving, Tottenham.
Yeah. Well, that's our rant over for the day regarding Johan Lange and how this football club is run. Once again,